right, here we go. So welcome to our May 2023 State TA Day fall. This year is really flying by, and can't believe the fiscal year is almost over. Can't believe it's summer already, but really excited. I know lots of us have graduations and continuations and things like that happening this week, so congratulations to anyone with kids or anyone who's graduating themselves. It's a really cool time of year, lots of changes in the air. I know we're feeling it in our house for sure. So we are going to get started with a little update from Alyssa regarding employee-based childcare.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you again. If you don't know me, my name is Alyssa Pappas, and I am the Grant Program Manager for Employer-Based Childcare, which is a stimulus funding grant program that we have here for employers to renovate or build a child care center for their employees on or near site. And we have several 14 grantees currently whose grant period is ending June 30th. So if you have one of those grant programs in your area that you've been working with, I just wanted to put on your radar that unfortunately there's no option to extend the funding. I've gotten that question a couple of times. So if you have, again, an employer-based child care grantee in your area that is funded with state general funds, their grant is ending June 30th with no extensions. And if the program is worried about their spend down, they should reach out to me directly, and I'm happy to meet with them. Looking forward a little bit too for employer-based childcare, I just wanted to let you all know that we will be opening another round of grant funding, the request for applications, likely the first week or so of August. So you can go ahead and start mentioning that to anyone who you work with in your county. I also am going to be borrowing Emily's wonderful idea, and this summer I'll be hosting a couple of office hours for employer-based childcare. I think I'll plan on doing 2 in June and then possibly a few more in July. So I'll be sure to share that information with all of you. And if you have any questions about if someone has come to you with a model that you're not sure if it qualifies for employer-based childcare, or you'd just like to learn more about the program, I'll plan to do a little introduction in the first few sessions too. Yes, thank you, Bonnie. The state general fund grantees were awarded in 2021 and 2022. So office hours coming, request for application, new round coming in August. And if you have any questions, you can email me. I'll put my email in the chat, or I'll respond to some chats right now. Thanks, Charlie. I'm not sure if we have any time for questions.
We could probably, if anyone has any burning questions.
Pressing.
And Alyssa, is it okay if I add, I hope y'all can hear me, that the office hours will be a great opportunity to connect with Alyssa about any questions you or your communities may have, because once the RFA opens, she can't really answer questions. So this is a good time in the interim to get connected and with her and this piece. So I just wanted to point that out.
Thanks, Emily. Yes, the RFA will be open for 30 days, and as soon as that's posted, I will not be able to answer any questions. Tiffany.
And like partnering organizations or those that want to apply, can they attend these office hours as well?
I'm going to make these just for early childhood councils. I'm getting employer-based confused, but ECCs right now, and then I'll think about a forum for potential applicants. I know you all get a lot of questions, so I want to make sure that you're armed with all the information that you need. Okay, thank you, Charlie.
Thank you. And Emily, you were good to pop in there. You're going to be talking about E&E a little bit early today. E&E.
I know it's all E's and E&E's all the time. So I'm embarrassed to say my first slide picture is wrong. We have more money to distribute because I put the wrong amount of the GAE at the bottom. So bear with me. I can update it so that you guys have the updated piece by the end. But I want to go ahead and do this now. So I think I can do this. Do you see it if I share my screen? Let's see. You guys, I can do this.
You
Okay.
can do this.
I can do this. Do you
There
see
you
it
go.
yet?
You did it.
Okay.
We knew you could do it.
So pretend that the GAE number is over $11 million because that's what it is. But the most important thing I think for us right now is that Christy and I and the E&E Eligibility Determination Committee been able to make 46 applications eligible. So it's 25 since last time.
Emily, can you, sorry to interrupt. We can see
Yeah.
your like speaker notes page.
Oh, well, that's exciting.
Yes.
I mean,
there are
that's
no
not
notes,
super
but
great. I know.
It's hard to see the.
I don't know what's happening, so I'm just going to do this one. You guys, I'm usually the one that's decent at technology, and now I'm blaming the cold Johnny gave me, okay?
Yes.
So, and how do you get colds when you're not in school? Asking for a friend. Okay, so the most important thing I think is that we've been able to review and approve 46 applications. We, out of the 230, we've had a lot of applications that are withdrawn or ineligible. So it's not just the 46 that we've gone through. The total funds granted is correct, of 3.3 million. And the number of new slots potentially added is 1,126. And what Christy and I have been trying to do, if possible, is confirm those new slots based on license type. So if it's a large family childcare home, for example, there's a standardization for family childcare homes. And then obviously with licensing of centers, we do what's in the either newly opened center when they open that original application, or when the change goes through, we take that number. So that number is going to change a little bit because we haven't been able to fully verify the number of slots added for all of the ones that we're eligible with. But don't worry, we will. So we have 151 currently under review. So under review means that you all maybe have received a lot of emails from Christy and me. Those ones are going to be under review. And then we have a handful that we haven't had the chance to look at all. And so those are also included in that number. So the new slots under review. So this number is not very reliable because it's self-reported by the program when they do the application. And so some programs include their current slots when they do this number. So that's why that number can change so much. That's why, for example, the change from last time doesn't match the change. If you look at the change from the last update versus the metric on the new slots added, that's why that doesn't match, because people tend to over-report how many slots they're adding. So sorry for the wrong number on the bottom. Don't look at that. Don't look at the available funds remaining. All I could tell, just look at the amount that we've granted so far. And then we're asking you all to, if you can, and it makes sense for the program, it's not a requirement, but we're asking for you all to see if you can include coaching or early childhood mental health consulting or nurse consulting in the E&E budgets. Those are things that are allowed under E&E for spending. It can only be like nurse consulting for the new room that's added, for example, but hopefully that could defray some of the costs there. And the big reason we're asking for this is we're seeing an increase in the number of abuse and neglect reports that licensing has to look into. And when I say that, it's things that can be like kids left unattended in a hallway, right? It's not always, I know when we hear child abuse and neglect, we go to those egregious situations, and those unfortunately happen. And there's also things that, like kids unsupervised in a hallway, that could put a program on probation, for example. And so if we can use E&E funding to support that, the coaching and the supports there, that might help alleviate some of that. That's great. So the next thing that's pretty exciting is, I know I presented this last time, but things that Christy and I are seeing that could delay an eligibility determination is really the missing insurance and licensure information for contractors, second bids for items over 5,000, and licensing clarifications or situations. So for example, if you have a program that hasn't broken ground and there's no blueprints or anything to look at, there's no way licensing can complete the consultation guide. And if you remember, the consultation guide is the document that was created so that we could approve E&E funds before the license opens, because sometimes that's what's necessary, or that's what helps get that program over the line, to be able to add the slots. For example, I know we have a family child care home. She needs a new fence. She can't open until that new fence is built, and that's where she has a consultation guide. And so if there's nothing that the licensing specialist can look at to even determine what space they're looking at and all of that, that's a reason that we can't make an eligibility determination. So, and then other times it's just clarifying, yes, the consultation guide was done on this day, and all of that. So our partners in licensing are doing an awesome job. They're being responsive, very responsive to Christy and I. And so the other piece is around licensing clarifications is, if the program hasn't applied for the change in license, we can't approve it. So the licensing pieces have to be the change in license and the consultation guide, or they're already open and operating at the increased capacity, whatever that looks like. So I know that's a lot, and I know I said it last time. I just I'm trying to be helpful. For those of you that don't hang out on office hours all the time, you're welcome. We'd love to have you. Okay, so people have been asking me, when are we gonna open the next round of E&E? I jokingly call it season 2, episode 2, because I'd like to think that we're as popular as your favorite Netflix show, but probably not for the same reason that you're looking forward to the next season on the next episode on your Netflix show. So we're still saying early summer. Remember, summer starts June 21st, even though it feels like summer right now. And the big reason is that we want to be able to execute contract amendments at the same time. So, and part of those contract amendments are, we want to increase council base funding for E&E based on 10% of whatever eligible applications that council has at that time. So Christy and I and the eligibility determination committee want to make as many affirmative eligibility determinations as we possibly can before we execute those contract amendments, because that way we can get base funding to you to continue to support the E&E program, whether it's tracking down paperwork and invoices after the eligibility is determined, or you have some people in the queue, or you all love the programs that apply and don't even talk to you. Those are the ones that require a lot of work, so hopefully to provide a little more support for that. Additionally, we are able to extend spend down of the GAE through September 30th, 2026. And so that'll be included in there. And that was approved by the legislature. We still want you all to encourage programs to spend down as early as possible, because we don't want to be in a situation in 2026 where we're sitting on a lot of money and we're not sure if we're going to be able to spend it. And so we want to make sure we're supporting programs. One thing that will help with this is we are required by the legislation to have all of the funding encumbered, which is a fancy word for saying all the eligibility determinations have to be done by the end of 2024. So really, we just have that extra 2 years for spend down. But when you're thinking about, early childhood mental health or family nurse, nurse consultation, or even coaching, you can think about it from the space of we have some time to spend those funds down. So you don't have to coach it in like 2 months, because that's insane. Unless you want to, go for it. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And then the legislature also increased the amount for the E&E program this session. And so we are going to most likely include an increase in that amount in this contract round. So I don't have the specifics on that. That's why we have an asterisk where I'm like, I think not 100%. So, when the contract amendments come out, and if it's not exactly what we've said here, well, we'll do our very, very best to communicate with you as early and often as we can, and as clearly as we can. But this is what I anticipate at this time. And finally, we have office hours. If you want to be on office hours, just to hold that time on your calendar. I know some of you I know all of us are super busy, and you don't have to come if I invite you, but if you want to come, let me know. I'm happy to add you to the office, to the invitations, or if you just want the Google Meet information. But they're every Monday, except not this Monday because Memorial Day, from 1:30 to 2:30, and then Wednesdays from 10 to 11. This is a space for you all. And so please don't share the office hours information with providers. This is a place where we can talk through each case individually, or each application, have some of those harder conversations. Like if you've had a provider that's indicated to you that like, oh, maybe I won't stay open. Like, what should I do about that, Emily? They've told me this. That's where we can have that conversation. And so please join us. And I feel like I'm forgetting something, but other than that, that's what I got for you right now. And I'll update that first slide so that when Charlie sends you all the documents, it's actually right. So, yeah, that's the piece. So yeah, Bonnie, go for it. Oh, you're a TA vendor.
Oh,
Yeah, do it, Bonnie. You've been working really hard on this.
and I sent you a message too, Emily, but you were presenting beautifully. So I don't blame you for not seeing it. So I had a couple of things. One, thank you so much to everyone who filled out those SLFRF risk assessment questionnaires. I sent out a reminder email to you guys yesterday. If you haven't completed it yet for your ECC, please, I'm begging you guys, go in and get those done by the end of this week before we have the holiday weekend, if you can. If you have any issues with that, feel free to let me know. I'll put my email in the chat. If you don't, the only documentation I'm asking for is a conflict of interest policy. This could be something as simple as a few lines in your bylaws. Whatever you have, please send it. If you don't have anything, just put no. No one's like in trouble. This isn't an audit. This is simply an assessment as a requirement of SLFRF. And if we need to put those things together down the line, like, we will support you guys through any processes there. So I just really appreciate the help there. The other thing I wanted to let you all know is that we have, we awarded the E&E technical assistance vendor contract to Thrive Community Building. We are in the final stages of getting that contract executed. So we will get them on board, I'm hoping in the next couple weeks. And as soon as that happens, we'll get them working with Emily and Christy. I'm hoping they can come to some office hours and assist you with all of those construction, permitting, building questions that we all love so much. So yeah, good news there.
Yeah, I mean, I know that we all have secret desires to be capital project managers, but these folks will help us out a lot if you don't want to read the municipal code of gypsum. Although I did read that at office hours once and I learned a lot. Did you know if you're operating a business in gypsum, you have to have a license? The contractor that was operating a business in gypsum did not know that. So yeah, so this is good. So I'm really excited about onboarding our TA vendor. I really want them to come to office hours so they can understand. And I remember what I was going to say. Your fearless leader, Megan, presented on a cafe conversation for our whole department about the role of councils. And one thing she said that you all say about yourselves is when you've seen one council, you've seen one council. And I could definitively say that you can say the same thing about E&E applications. When you've seen one E&E application, you've seen one. So we're all in this together. I really appreciate your partnership and your good humor. And also, if you have an email from me in the signature block, you'll see two options. One is, hey, Emily and Christy, we think this is ready to go and we're going to fill out the form. So link to that form. So don't hesitate to do that, even if it's one that you've already filled out before and we've had to email and get some more info, you can submit that way. The other is I'm trying to block off 30-minute segments of time on my calendar for people to connect, because sometimes it's just easier to talk about things. And you don't want to necessarily talk about it in office hours. I could tell you you're in a safe space in office hours, and I can also tell you I understand. So if you want to hang out with me one-on-one, bring your coffee, fill out the form, reserve some time, and I'd love to see you. So take good care, friends. For those of you that have family members or friends that are in the service, I appreciate their service to our country, and enjoy this weekend, and take a moment to pause and remember what Memorial Day was designated for. All right.
Thanks, Emily.
No time for questions, but just chat and I'll answer them in the chat. And yes, Lana, you guys still have to fill it out just in case you spend any base funds. Even if you don't end up getting someone in E&E, you could still do some base funding because you were talking with them and supporting them and exploring that. So yeah, risk assessments for one and all. Gotta love it.
Cool, cool. All right, Ava, we're gonna transfer over to you. Yeah, and if you have any questions, you know how to get in touch.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Emily. It's always
And we
fun.
do have a little buffer time at the end, so don't feel like you gotta cut your stuff short.
Okay. Perfect. Well, I was just going to say, it's always fun to go after Emily because you make everybody smile. Thanks for brightening our day. Just a couple of EQ updates, EQ initiative updates. Probably won't take too long here. First, I just wanted to mention, I know I've emailed out to folks who have EQ contracts, but we do have additional funds to spend down this year. So if you have any thoughts or ideas around end of year spend down that you'd like to apply for, let me know. You can just send me an email. You can send a budget revision request, or you can just connect with me. That's probably the easiest way. So I just wanted to make that announcement. We have started the Promoting First Relationships training, which we have about 20 infant toddler specialists from various councils all across the state who are taking that course. There is a level 1, which everyone is taking right now. They're halfway through. And then there's a level 2, which is an additional 40 hours after they've completed this level 1. So not everyone's going on for the level 2. I think we have 6 or 7 people, though, who are going on for that. Level 2, which is a certification in this model, Promoting First Relationships. It's a really great model that looks at how to support infant toddler teachers with looking at sort of different levels of attachment through observation. So thanks everybody for all your support in helping us to be able to offer that to your infant toddler specialists. I wanted to report on our coaching totals for EQ to date. Thank you everyone who was able to turn in your Q3 reports. Those helped me to just kind of get a sense of where we are, especially I think with Lisa transitioning out, me transitioning in, I was having to kind of figure out like, oh my gosh, how many hours do we really have? So the Q3 reports really helped. We are way underspent for coaching hours. So again, if you have coaching hours that your coaches have not gone out into the field and used yet, now is the time to do lots of encouraging to help to spend those coaching hours down. I'm hoping that we'll get lots of invoices around coaching time. But I did want to just say, if you are noticing any trends or if you're having any insights around why coaching hours aren't being used, or on the other end, if you're one of the councils that keeps requesting more coaching hours, please let me know why you think your coaches are able to spend and are kind of working in those classrooms more often. I'd love to just kind of get a little sense around how we can best make decisions based off of what we see that's being spent and what the needs are, as well as sort of what the motivations are for around coaching. So just wanted to put those numbers out there. Again, anyone who is doing EQ coaching, go have a little conversation with your coaches and say, time to go coach. You have a month. Yes, and Lena Grow is a allowable use of funds for coaching if you are working within infant toddler programs. So yeah, it's a great use of EQIT funding. Thank you, Stacy Petty, for that. And my last bit of update is just that we're continuing to move our EQIT course registrations to PDIS. So Linda, I will answer that in just 1 second. We're continuing to move these registrations to PDIS. So starting in July, anyone who across the state who is interested in taking a course, anyone who is interested in taking a course will go to PDIS. They will search for their local community, and then they will enroll in their course within PDIS. This is helping us in a few different ways. It's helping us to be able to track some of the data that you all have been tracking in your data reporting workbooks. That's now going to be captured in PDIS instead of having you all to report that quarterly. That will live there. So that's going to be nice. The other real benefit is that when courses are finished, instructors or whoever is identified within the council as that kind of PDIS lead will be able to approve certificates at the end of the course. Right now we have probably a 2 week to a month lag time from when courses are ending, the information is being sent to us, and then we work with a vendor to be able to approve those certificates. So now it's going to be a lot faster. So right now, councils or whoever is sort of in the lead for taking care of EQIT registration, we're doing one-on-one meetings with Mary Heffernan to set up email templates, talk about that attendance tracking, talk about what it looks like when you maybe have someone who is wanting to take your course but doesn't live in your catchment area, putting them on wait lists and kind of being able to use this management system in that way. So that's exciting. We are probably really close to going live with many of the courses who are starting mid-July. So if you have questions around this, please go ahead and reach out. I do still need a couple course plans from folks. So if you're on that list, please give me your course plan as soon as you can. The other piece to this is that as I'm getting the course plans in, we have to go through and make sure that all of the infant toddler specialists are approved in PDIS this year. So that's kind of another new step for folks who are instructors and coaches. There is a infant toddler specialist trainer role now that lives in PDIS and an infant toddler specialist coach role. So anyone who is approved to teach EQIT or coach for EQIT needs to apply for those 2 roles. So another reason that we need the course plan sooner than later so that we can start making sure that everyone is up to date on those pieces. I mentioned this last time, but we will be limiting the virtual courses this year. So half of your courses either need to be face-to-face or hybrid. Hybrid doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to be like a simultaneous, some people are in the course live and some people are on virtual. I would say it's probably better practice to have folks who are, everybody comes together for certain sessions face-to-face, and then everyone comes together for certain sessions in a virtual format. So that's my information on EQ updates. I did see a couple of things happening here.
I got you, Eva. The first question is, what is Lena Grow?
Yes, thank you for asking that. So Lena is a really great program, Lena Grow. There's a few different levels of Lena. Lena Grow is the one that we use with the childcare programs. And it's essentially looking at the way that childcare providers are having back and forth exchanges with children in their care. And so the children actually wear these little cute, like non-invasive vests that have a little sort of recording device. Although it does not record the words that are said throughout the day, it does record the back and forth exchanges that happen from childcare provider to child. So there are Lena days, and those are the days that you're sort of, the childcare provider is using those tracking pieces. Those are then recorded through the Lena devices, and that data is uploaded, and you're then able to see how many back and forth exchanges are going on throughout the day per child. So you sort of get a baseline, and then the coach kind of helps you to notice trends. Like maybe you're having a lot more back and forth exchanges during free play, and maybe you're having less back and forth exchanges during meal times. And so that kind of helps the childcare provider, gives an indication of, oh, maybe we need to have a little bit more conversation during mealtime. Maybe things are really quiet during that time. So it just kind of helps the childcare provider to see what those trends are, and then to be able to help increase the language that's being offered in the childcare setting each day. So we know that an increase of amount of language, an increased amount of words helps children to be able to do better in school later, helps children to lessen that word gap that exists. So there's all kinds of research that's linked with the importance of having lots of language and lots of communication throughout the day. So that's really kind of where the basis of Lena comes from. I can probably find their website for you and put that in.
Put it in. Kristen put it in.
Thank you, Kristen. Yeah, lots of people are using Lena Grow now, and it is one of the allowable uses of funds for coaching for EQIT. So
It's so
definitely
cool.
something to think about. Yeah.
So the next question is, can you please send a list of acceptable TA or acceptable opportunities? And Jennifer from Hula asked that.
Yeah. And Jennifer,
So-
I think you're maybe asking about like the allowable uses of funds for
Yes. Yeah,
additional
that's
students.
correct, Eva. Just
Okay.
so because I know, just to remind us, what is, since there's possible dollars, what is allowable in case we want to look at something going forward.
Yes, absolutely. I will let's see. I can, maybe what I'll do is I'll put that in the slide notes. I have just like a list that I can copy and paste that has the allowable use of funds. Okay.
Cool. And then the next one is, do you know when facilitation courses might be offered again for those areas that need new EQIT trainers?
Yes, thank you for asking, Stephanie. We will be offering our next, we call it our Infant Toddler Specialist Foundations course, starting in January of 2024. So we typically offer that training every 2 years right now, mostly kind of due to our staffing and due to the amount of love that we put into that training course. So that will be offered in January 2024. We have an interest form, Stephanie. I think that you've probably filled that out, but I can put that link in the chat here. So we will start to contact folks who are wanting to be a part of that, or at least maybe know of other trainers who they feel like they want to have go through that course so that they can begin to build up their teams. So we'll start to reach out to folks. We'll have our application and interest forms and those kinds of things going out this fall. And then we'll hopefully be ready to go probably mid-January, give people a little time after getting through the holidays. So that is the plan for that. I will put that in that link in the chat right now too.
Look at you, Eva. You actually know when you're going to do stuff, unlike me. So you're ahead of the curve.
Right. Well, that one, we plan it 2 years out. So that one, we have that one on the radar for sure.
Cool.
Cool.
Those
Okay.
those are all our questions.
Okay.
But we know how to get a hold of you. Yeah, lots of EQIT work going on, and we really appreciate your partnership. And so far, you're doing an awesome job stepping up to the new role, and we appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Aw.
Thank you. All right, Riyadh, are you on?
Yep. Hi.
You're out there. Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. This should be pretty quick. All right. Can everyone see that okay?
Yes. Looks
All
like.
right. Perfect. So nice to meet everyone. I'm Riyadh. I work in the workforce unit. I'm a provider support specialist, and I work on the Staff Family Child Care Network. So what I wanted to talk to everyone about was a really cool new opportunity with a nonprofit called PCs for People. So this partnership came up out of a need to make sure that childcare providers had reliable access to computer hardware. So PCs for People from their own site is a national nonprofit social enterprise working to get low-cost quality computers and internet into the homes, individuals, families, and nonprofits with low income. By recycling, then refurbishing computers, PCs for People provides a valuable service to businesses, families, and the planet by keeping computers out of landfills and repurposing them to advance digital inclusion. So what do? They offer exclusively refurbished Windows laptops, desktops, and even Chromebooks. Pricing depends on the specs of the machine and the age. They're all Windows 10 when you're using a Microsoft computer. And they also offer networking hardware. They also just started offering free technology literacy courses. These are offered at their headquarters where they've set up a new learning environment and also digitally. So you can engage either way. We want to connect childcare providers with these courses because sometimes we know that it's kind of hard to take advantage of all the technology out there. So the first one is later this month, and through the Staff Family Childcare Network that just piloted in Colorado, I hope to get future courses made more accessible to our home care providers. They're also facilitating low-cost, high-speed internet. So the requirements depend on whether it's an individual or an organization. They have a portal where you create a profile and you get approval. It could be, again, an individual or a nonprofit, and you can make purchases through there for networking equipment, desktops, laptops, and you can communicate with them directly if you're interested in high-speed internet. They are authorized through, I forgot what the acronym stands for. It's ACT, but it's a federally funded program for high-speed internet for low-income individuals. They also offer repair services, which are really affordable. I believe it's a $30 flat fee, and they won't do any repairs without prior approval. And everything that we would be buying from them has a 1-year warranty. They only work with products that are being recycled or that they would be e-waste. So I would also encourage your organization, if you're looking to get rid of old hardware or equipment in a responsible manner, to connect with PCs for People, because they can perform data sanitization to make sure that there's nothing left on those drives and repurpose them for the individuals that need them in this case. Yeah, you can totally, they do free pickup. And if they can't refurbish it to sell it to individuals and organizations in need, they will strip it down and make sure that it's recycled in an environmentally friendly way. So I think those are some really great points that kind of address a few different needs, access, e-waste, and then we have the internet and learning aspects. The best way to reach it. Well, I can follow up. If you want to shoot your email in the chat, I can go ahead and make sure that you're connected with them, since I've been talking to them recently. And we can see if we can't get some of that equipment recycled. So there are a few ways that we're thinking about distributing these resources. I think first, we're trying to narrow down where the need is and make sure that providers that actually need this equipment have access to it. So I'm thinking that CDEC is going to start as an intermediary between providers and PCs for People. And eventually, we would like to have our staff family childcare network sites get authorized so that they can make purchases ad hoc and make sure that the people providing services in a home can buy and distribute the equipment. And then also councils, because they have different rules. For an individual, they're limited to 5 pieces of hardware per calendar year, whereas that limitation for a nonprofit organization is removed. So we're looking at potentially making bulk purchases, having machines on hand, and then being able to distribute them as necessary. So there are a few different models that we're considering, and if anyone has any ideas or wants to kind of think about how we're going to get those computers out there, or internet, or those technology courses, I'd love to hear them. My email is at the bottom of the slide, and I'm open to any questions if anyone's curious about this new partnership and this new opportunity to get the hardware equipment out there. And if not, I'm going to go ahead and kick it back to Charles for the next item on the agenda.
Any other questions for Riyadh? All right, this sounds like a really amazing.
I have
Oh,
a question. So when can
Yes.
you start receiving these products, or what is the timeline or going forward to be to get the partnership out finished?
So I think within the next couple of weeks, we are going to have the ability to start making purchases. If you have people that you're in contact with already in need, I definitely think within the next month, we could probably get something to them. So yeah, we've already started this. It's just a matter of really figuring out how we're going to engage in distribution and making sure that people know that this is an option. So how we actually pay for that, whether it's going to be cost reimbursable with our partners or whether we just want to buy stuff up front and then distribute, all that's still up for discussion. But yeah, short answer is if you have anybody that you're aware of, feel free to shoot me an email and we'll go from there.
Thank you.
Sure.
Great question, Jennifer.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Cool. Thanks. And Riyadh, if you don't mind, just they're emailing me, or you could paste the slideshow into the agenda. That would be awesome. Cool. All right. We are moving right along. This has been a really wonderful State TA Day so far.
Yeah, I need
Let's Kelsey.
Hi. Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Kelsey Moody, for those who I haven't had a chance to meet yet, and I am the Early Learning Lead Analyst for the Department of Early Childhood. I'm really excited to be here today to share with you all the Stimulus Maps project that I've been working on. And let me share my screen for you all. So just a little bit of background on how this project came to be. There was really a vision to create a singular product that showed how various stimulus strategies impacted counties across the state. So we arrived at this product, and we want to make sure that folks are aware this is not representative of all of our stimulus efforts. We really had to start with a handful of stimulus strategies, and then our hope is as we continue to update this product, we can roll in more stimulus strategies. So the ones that we've started with so far are outlined in this paragraph here. So it's the stabilization grant, employer-based childcare, circle grants, licensing incentive, emerging and expanding, health and mental health, and improving indoor air quality. And you'll see that there are placeholders for some of our workforce strategies. We're still working internally to connect those to county level data. And so once that becomes available, we'll also roll them into this product as well. I do want to caveat that this product's not currently available for external stakeholders, but we are hoping that it rolls out in the near future. So we really just wanted to take this opportunity to preview it with you all. That way you can understand what's to come, how you can interact with and navigate with the maps, and then what data is included. So I will scroll through this product with you all and just kind of walk you through the different sections. So this description section just outlines the strategies that are included. We do aggregate the data at a county level, and we are sharing 2 data points at the county level. The first would be the number of grantees, and then the second data point would be the overall funding or dollars dispersed at the county level. And we're also intending to update this map quarterly. So you'll always be able to find the most recent date that it was updated up here in the header. So for example, this version was created in April, and then we would intend to update the next version in July. So every quarter we hope to release a new updated version of these maps. So scrolling to the map section, when it first opens, it will default to what we're calling this comprehensive map. And then we have 3 additional buckets that communicate the different strategies. So we have access strategies, workforce strategies, and family strengthening strategies. And I'll go through each of those as well so you can see where these different stimulus efforts fall. But this comprehensive map is unique in that it is the only one that has this kind of like gradient color scheme. And so of the 7 strategies that we're currently including in this product, counties will be shaded a darker color if they've engaged with a higher number of these stimulus strategies. So down here in the bottom right-hand corner, you can kind of see that legend. So if counties engaged with 0 or 1 of the stimulus efforts, which none of the counties on the map have, they would be the lightest color blue. And then it increases from there with 6 or 7, meaning that they've engaged with almost all or all of the stimulus strategies. And then if you were to click on a county, so El Paso, for example, you would see the list of grants that that specific county engaged with. So this map is really meant to be a bird's eye view of how counties engaged with these stimulus efforts across the state, where there could be some opportunity for outreach. And then if you have any specific questions or want more details about the specific strategies that a county engaged with, that's when you would navigate to the different strategy buckets up top and look at that specific stimulus strategies map. So I'll go to the access strategies and walk through some of the maps that are included here. So within the access strategies, we have the stabilization grant, the employer-based child care grant, circle grant, licensing incentive, and emerging and expanding. So you'll see here the stabilization grant map. At least one provider in every county engaged with the stabilization grant, which is why you see all counties across the state shaded green. And then if you wanted to get specific information for the county, so Gunnison, for example, you can click and you'll get a pop-up for each county that gives you those 2 data points. So it'll give you the volume of providers who received funding as well as the total funding amount. So for Gunnison County, we had 8 providers who received stabilization grant funding for a total of just shy of $538,000. And for stabilization grant funding, we broke it out into the 2 buckets of funding. So we could see of that 537,840, about 432,000 were dedicated to operations payments, and the remaining 106,000 were workforce sustainability payments. So you can click on whichever county or counties are of interest for you and see those data points. And then if you scroll down underneath each grant's map, you'll see the accompanying data notes and sources. And for each grant effort, we did link the Growing Forward FAQ website dedicated for each grant. That way, if folks wanted some more information on the grant itself, you can navigate to some of these already accessible resources. So I'll go through a few of these maps, and then I can pause after I've gone through the access strategies to see if there are any questions. And if not, I can run through the rest of the maps as well. But moving on to the employer-based child care grant, you'll see here that there are some counties that are not shaded. So that would mean that they have not received eligibility for the employer-based child care grant, but those that are shaded green have. So if we were to click on Eagle County, for example, we see that there are 2 grantees who are awarded this funding for a total of $1.3 million. And I do want to point out with this specific grant that these are grantees who were approved to receive funding. Obviously, there are various stages of the employer-based child care grant. So this does not mean that there's currently a provider that's open and operating, for example, in this county, but we wanted to show that there was funding that was dedicated to this county as a result of this grant effort. And again, if you wanted some more information about the specific grant, we have the website linked down at the bottom. Circle grant is interesting. This one's not as straightforward as some of the other grants because there are grantees who represent multiple counties. And so we have a couple different layer options up here for our partners to click on to see various views. So it will default to this single and multi-county circle grantee layer. And this is going to show you all of the grantees in the counties they represent. And so you can see in this map that every county across the state is represented in some way, shape, or form by a circle grantee. If you wanted to see those who were only representing one county, so they all of their funding would be dedicated to that single county, you can click on the second layer labeled single county circle grantees, and you would be able to click on Kit Carson, for example, and there were 2 grantees who only represent Kit Carson. So we would know that all of their funding, the full $208,156, would be dedicated to Kit Carson. If you were to click on the multi-county circle grantees layer and click on Kit Carson, we could see that there are 15 grantees that represent Kit Carson in combination with other counties. It's at the discretion of the grantees as to how they want to split up their award amount. So we at the state don't have a definitive dollar amount to say like X amount of all of this grant funding is going to Kit Carson. The best we can do is kind of provide a range. So of these 15 grantees, their total funding is about $1.8 million. So an additional 1.8 million, if all of it was awarded to Kit Carson, it could go that way. In reality, it probably falls somewhere in between 0 to up to 1.8 million from these multi-county grantees that would be dedicated to Kit Carson. So if we look at this, this single and multi-county circle grantee, you'll see a range. So you'll see the total grantees. There are a total of 17 grantees that either represent Kit Carson alone or in combination with other counties. And then you'll see this funding range. So again, we know that 2 of the grantees have $208,000. So at least $208,000 are going to be going to Kit Carson. And then we would just add that additional 1.8 million to that to give us the full funding range of 208 to about $2 million that could be awarded to Kit Carson. So it's a little bit more wordy in the pop-up to explain some of those nuances, since there are grantees that can represent and split up their award amount across multiple counties. But we did try to explain that in a data note underneath the map as well, should you need just like a little bit more of a reminder once you have access to these maps and can get in here and kind of play around with it a little bit. And then the licensing incentive bonus map, again, the counties that are shaded green means that they had at least one provider who was eligible or received funding for the licensing incentive bonus. So if we were to click on Mesa County, we could see 14 providers received a total funding amount of $65,500. And again, you can click on your county or counties of interest. And then the emerging and expanding grant. So I know we're in phase 2. Of the E&E grant. This would be inclusive of phase 1 and phase 2. So regardless of which phase they received the funding in, they would be represented on this map. And you would click on the county, and for example, El Paso, we could see that 19 providers received E&E funding for a total of about $701,000. I saw that there were some questions popping up in the chat, so I will pause and try to read through and answer some of those, and then I can continue on with the other strategy buckets if that makes sense for
Hey,
folks.
Kelsey, I can read them for you.
That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Okay, one is, can we get the link that you're using now?
So we are, this is just a preview. We don't have a publicly accessible link yet for folks. It will be enrolled as part of a larger stimulus information communication plan. So as soon as the link is available publicly, that will be shared with you all, but we really just wanted to take the time today to preview it so you all kind of have a sneak peek of what the maps show and how you can hopefully navigate through them once you have access to the link.
Great. What is the time frame of this info?
In terms of when you'll be able to get your hands on it, or the data range for the grants themselves?
I think it's the data range. How current is it?
Yeah, so we would have pulled all data up to April, basically. So these maps were created in April of 2023. So it would be inclusive of all data up until that point. And then each time we update the map in the months of January, April, July, and October, it would be inclusive of all data relevant for that grant up to that point.
Great. Thanks, Kelsey. The last is, it looks like Weld County's name is not on the county.
It is. I don't know why. Everyone else is centered. It centered itself down here in this little corner. So it is there. It just didn't center itself like the others. If you click on Welds, you will see it in the header of the pop-up. So yeah, sorry about that formatting. I have not been able to recenter that one for some reason, but it is there.
There was a suggestion that it could be the county that shall not be named.
Oh, no, it's named in the pop-up, I promise.
Thanks, Kelsey. I think that's it for right now.
Great.
I'll keep an eye on it for you.
Okay, thanks,
Yeah.
Emily. Yeah, and I'll just go through the last two buckets. You know, now that you've kind of seen the format, it's similar across all maps, but I will just navigate through so you can see where each of these grants are housed and some of the information that it contains. So our workforce strategies, we do not currently have any maps available. We're kind of using this as a placeholder. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier, we are working on connecting some of those scholarship efforts to a county level, given that they're generally kind of granted at an individual level. We just want to make sure that we're being mindful of some data privacy concerns. And so we're working on aggregating them at the county level. And once that data becomes available, we will be rolling out a map related to that. And we also have a placeholder for the Workforce Sustainability Grant. Given that it's a subset of the stabilization grant, we have it in our access strategies, but we wanted to have a placeholder to reroute folks in case intuitively they went to the workforce strategy looking for workforce sustainability. So this will just reroute folks to go to the stabilization map under access strategies. And as a reminder, once you click on that, that's where you would see the workforce sustainability payments information. So workforce strategies, no maps at present, but there are some helpful links and tips to find some relevant information. And then for family strengthening strategies, we have the health and mental health grant and the improving indoor air quality grant. So for the mental health and mental health grant, again, you can see county is shaded that had at least one eligible provider. And so Rio Blanco, for example, had 2 providers for a total of 3,000. And again, you can click through and see provider volume and dollars dispersed. And then similar for improving indoor air quality grant. So again, we're hoping that these will become publicly available in the near future. It will be part of a larger stimulus information communication plan. But hopefully this does help give you all some idea of engagement with some of the stimulus strategies across the state and how counties have engaged, and if there are some opportunities for outreach for a bit more engagement or to see what worked well for folks, what we can improve on. So hopefully this gives a bit more of a bird's eye view and a more comprehensive view of some of our strategies that we've unrolled. Yes. Any other questions that come to mind?
Not seeing any. Kelsey, do you mind putting your email in the chat? It's on the agenda too. Oh, Brenda has a question.
I'm sorry, that was a technical error.
No problem. Yes, I will absolutely put my email in the chat. And if anything pops up, I'll just keep an eye in there too.
Perfect. Thank you so much. What a cool project. And yeah, it's been fun I've seen the presentation a couple times, and it's been fun to kind of dig around there a little bit. And I know the councils will be very excited when they are able to kind of get hands-on it as well. Cool. All right, Connie, I see you there. Hello. Good to see you.
It's so good to see you, Charlie. Thanks so much for letting me talk about my program here today. So I'm going to share my screen really quick. Let's do these. So, okay. So this is a flyer that came out to childcare programs, and it went out probably about 2 weeks ago. So this is about the Peer Mentor Pilot Program. My name is Connie Zavalaga, and I'm the training specialist for the Peer Mentor Pilot here at CDEC. This program will train ECE professionals to attain the necessary skills to form a relationship-based reflective process between colleagues to advance their professional and personal effectiveness. So the goals of this program is to increase access to career ladders in the early childhood field, such as peer mentors, coaching, and other leadership roles. We also want to improve staff retention and job satisfaction, improve that program quality, and also the mentor and mentees practice. We also want to increase resources for directors and program leaders to improve the team culture, including relationship and belonging. So currently I am in that phase of recruiting possible candidates for this program. And so that's why I wanted to reach out to the larger community to see if you have contacts within your communities to share far and wide about these programs. Currently, I have a lot of candidates for my English speaking cohort, but again, just as like the first time around with the Spanish speaking cohort, it was a much smaller pool of candidates. So I will put in the chat the information for the Peer Mentor pilot. So I have that flyer in English and Spanish. The deadline to apply is tomorrow, so it's very last minute. Sadly, we have a very short turnaround, but if I don't get enough candidates for the Spanish speaking cohort, I will extend that deadline until next week. So I'll put that information there for you. If you have any questions, let me know. But if you're coaching Spanish speaking programs and you feel like that would be a good fit for them, that you feel that they need more support within the program, then send them that information. Tell them about it. It's all online. The dates are in the interest form, so they know exactly what they will be signing up to do. They will receive stipends for their participation, and we will also give them a stipend for substitutes so that they can stay away from their classroom to be able to do these work. So that's all I have, Charlie. That was very, very fast information. So you will have some extra time at the end. So let me put those links in there. Also, if there are candidates that have questions, just have them email me directly. I'm very good at answering questions via email. So just have them reach out to me, English speakers, Spanish speakers. Currently, we're not supporting other languages with this program. But as an English language learner myself, I am very mindful of those who are English language learners. So if you have someone that wants to participate in the English speaking cohort, but their English is their second language and they need more support, just have them reach out to me as well.
Awesome. Connie, will you put your contact in the chat just in case?
Yes, and I'll put the links to the flyers as well.
Cool. Any questions or comments on the Peer Mentor program? Did anybody have any experiences they wanted to share from last cohort or? Well, from what I hear, it was a huge success.
Yes, no, we had a really good time, and it was a very varied cohort from different counties. So it wasn't just Denver metro area that was represented, which was really nice. So
that is very cool. All right.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thanks, Connie. Kristen, I know I saw you there. Yeah, there you are. Hello.
Hey, Charlie. Hi, everyone. Well, happy Thursday. I can't believe it's the end of May. We are back again with some more updates from the State Systems Building Initiatives Unit. So if you go to the next slide, Marika, the first thing I wanted to share with you all was some high-level updates on our preschool development grant, Birth Through 5 planning grant, as well as our renewal grant. So next slide, please. Since we last spoke with you, our research questions for the PDGB-5 updated needs assessment were finalized. They were finalized based on feedback from stakeholders and very importantly from our CDEC Family Voice Council, who gave us really great advice, which was, I don't understand what these questions meant in their original form. Can you please just rephrase them so like anyone can understand what they mean? And of course they were wise and right, and we did that. So we're feeling really good about these research questions. As a reminder, this is the first time we've had an opportunity to update that comprehensive early childhood needs assessment since 2019. So we know there's a lot to dig in here. the way that our vendor, Colorado Health Institute, is going about answering these various research questions is they're analyzing quantitative data, whether that's original data pulls of databases that we have, or looking at existing reports that collected information and kind of synthesizing those findings, and to some extent doing a little bit of original data collection, but we know there's so much information already out there. Then they're also organizing focus groups and conducting a number of key informant interviews to dig into these various research questions. I just want to emphasize that the research questions have a broad and comprehensive focus. So when we talk about ECCE programs, or early childhood care and education programs, there's a definition of that covers all aspects of the early childhood framework. So this is not just about childcare. This is about home visiting, early intervention, our various family strengthening programs, how our health consultants work in programs, our early childhood mental health consultants. It's broad in scope. Next slide, please, Marika. So a few asks from you all on that focus group piece. We are running focus groups for the early childhood workforce. As you see, again, this is a broad view of what that means. A couple sessions coming up here soon. We need more frontline professionals. So I would just make a huge ask as you think about your council work, and particularly with some of the programs that exist outside of the childcare context, and you have workforce on your team, if you would ask them to sign up for a focus group, that would be excellent. Similarly, yes, Jennifer, I will get that to Charlie to share out if I can't grab it while Marika and Megan are talking. Great idea. For parent and family focus groups, we need more rural families. So we really want to make sure we're hearing rural voice here. So for all of you that are in early childhood councils in rural areas, if you wouldn't mind sharing this information with families and seeing if they'd be willing to join, that would be amazing. So I'll put, you'll have access to this slide deck, so you'll have all the links here, but I will get you that language as well. Next slide, please. Just a reminder, it is early childhood, or it is Mental Health Awareness Month, rather. And so, oh, thank you, Stacy. And so just a reminder about our early childhood mental health support line, which was lifted through our preschool development grant renewal grant. It is there, it is available, it is free to any adult who's supporting a child and who's less than 6. So just please make sure you continue to spread the word about the availability of this really important support. And then finally, a quick update on our strategic planning process. Along with this updated comprehensive needs assessment, we're doing a comprehensive update of our Birth to 5 strategic plan. As a reminder, that belongs to the whole state. Everybody's responsible for that. So that will be aligning with the Early Childhood Leadership Commission's refreshed framework. But then we'll be having that strategic plan working group of the ECLC dig into this work again this year to do a comprehensive update. Start Early was selected as our vendor, and we're hoping they'll be starting mid-June. So keep an eye out for more information about that ECLC strategic plan working group if that's something you want to take part in. All right, next slide, and I think I'm going to pass it to Megan and Marika. Oh, no, critical last question. We talked last time, there are a number of new strategies in our PDG planning grant that I would love to know how to share information best with you all about these strategies, as well as get your feedback on them. So what I did was just put together a quick survey. I'm going to drop it in the chat. If you could just rate sort of in 2 buckets what you're most interested in learning about, we can make sure those leads for those strategies come to the next state TA day. So you can do that now, take a few minutes, or wait to the end of the meeting, or do it when you get the materials from Charlie, but I'll pass it over now to Megan and Marika.
Good afternoon. My name is Megan LeClaire. I am sure you all know me. due to shared measures, but it is that time of year again. And this isn't really, you can go to the next slide, Marika. This isn't really a huge update from last month, just again, wanted to reshare this timeline with you all. So if you attended the ECLA membership meeting last week, then you heard just a brief intro to shared measures for this year again. So the measures are finalized. We took all of the feedback from you all last fall and worked to make this process easier and more responsive to the things that you want to measure in your communities. So now in June, at the June 9th Hot Topics call, we're going to be sharing the updated Google form for data collection, the updated guide, any FAQ cheat sheets, and sign up for office hours and a more detailed timeline. So everything will be coming soon. And then the reporting kicks off after this fiscal year ends. So July 1, you can start reporting, and that's when the form will open. And then the measures will be due August 15th. And so we want to get you all of the materials before the form opens, just so you have time to get in there and play around and ask any questions if things are coming up for you ahead of time. So that's just a little preview on what's to come, and I'll put my email in the chat, but looking forward to seeing you if you can make it to the Hot Topics call on June 9th.
Thank you, Megan and Kristen. I am here today to talk about the local organizational capacity regional convenings that are taking place this summer in 4 different regions of Colorado and 4 different cities. So you may remember that we have promoted these events during the state TA meetings this spring. And today we have another reminder about these events and also some clarifications based on some feedback and questions we've received from the community and the folks who are planning to apply. So the focus of these convenings is to offer professional development, facilitation, and support to local organizations and their partners in their work supporting families with infants and toddlers in the Birth to 5 system. This may look like strengthening families and providers and workforce within the context of infant and toddler supports. And it may look like enhancing collaboration and coordinated services across local ECE landscapes to support families with infants and toddlers. Following the regional convenings through the end of this year, December 30th, each community team will also receive a mini grant up to $5,000 to support their planning efforts. I also want to highlight that the convenings are targeted toward local organizations, and we defined this list as follows, but they're not limited to these types of organizations. So county human services, county health departments, early childhood councils, family resource centers, local coordinating organizations, school districts, and other local nonprofits. If you're familiar with the PDG C2 planning mini grants and the structure of the teams and the local organizations, it is very similar in this application. So one local organization or entity is the team lead, and they will collaborate between 2 to 5 partner organizations, and the teams will together fill out one application. We want to clarify this. So there's one application per team of 1 to 6 organizations. And then the application comes to us is in a Google form format. We try to make it as easy as possible to fill, and we estimate that it will take around 15 minutes to fill it out. So it's really quick and easy. And we also wanted to highlight this a question that came up in our emails, that we understand that some communities may already have some plans and strategies in place in supporting families with infants and toddlers. And then some communities may be just starting their planning around this space, and this is perfectly fine. We are super excited to have Holly Wiltshire the State Capacity Building Center's infant and toddler specialist as the facilitator for all of the 4 events. And Holly has been so wonderful and thoughtful when she's been planning the content for these convenings. And she's really making sure that every team at the event will receive the type of support for the stage they're in their planning. Any questions before I go to the next slide?
I'm not seeing any in the chat, but
Okay,
we'll keep an eye out.
Okay, thanks, Charlie. Okay, so the Glenwood event is coming super soon. It is from June 21st to June 22nd. And we really wanted to highlight today that we have extended the application deadline to Wednesday, May 31st. We're going to send communication about this following the state TA meeting to everyone that we've been in communications in the past, but we really wanted to mention this during this meeting as well. And then the application to the Durango convening is going out next week. And we also want to clarify something around the marketing for these regional convenings in the 4 geographic regions in our state, because we really want to be intentional and encourage regional collaboration. So the Glenwood Springs convening was marketed within the general region around Glenwood Springs. And in the email we sent out to market this event, we mentioned a 2-hour drive within Glenwood Springs as a guide for those applying for this convening. And we sent the Glenwood Springs marketing email to councils in the area such as Connections for Kids, First Impressions of Routt County, Grand Beginnings, Rocky Mountain Early Childhood Council, Early Childhood Options, Mesa County Partnership for Children and Families, as well as the Bright Futures, Gunnison, Hinsdale Council, and Chaffey County, with the understanding that some of these councils and their partner organizations may prefer to attend the Durango convening instead of driving to Glenwood Springs. I mentioned the $5,000 mini grant that will follow the convening. I also wanted to clarify something, that this $5,000 mini grant, these funds are not related to the team's costs to attend the convening. This is a separate grant teams will receive following the convening to support their planning efforts. And also, again, want to highlight there is no cost for teams to attend the convenings. Lodging and meals are provided. We also have funds for mileage reimbursement. And office hours have been the topic of conversation today. So Megan and I are also offering office hours for those interested in applying for the Durango, Pueblo, and Greeley events. And more information about the dates and times for these office hours are going to be in those marketing emails coming up. And I'll drop my email in the chat as well. Yes, thank you, Linda. So we are sending out emails with information to the convenings, and the emails will have links to a Google form application that teams can use to apply to be a team in these events. Any other questions? I don't think. If I missed some in a chat, Megan, will you read them to me, please?
Yep, I'm not seeing any other questions besides Linda's there. And I did drop the Glenwood Springs application link in the chat as well.
All right, thank you all. And if any questions pop into your mind after the meeting, please feel free to email Megan and I. I'll put my email in the chat as well. Thank you all.
Thank you, Marika. And yeah, I'm on. Okay. Thank you, Kristen and her team as well. Megan, Kristen, Marika. You guys are always here to deliver wonderful information and resources, and you just always have so many amazing things going on. So we appreciate it. I'll make sure to put all the links you put in the chat into our agenda as well, so anyone can access them. And I believe we will be moving on to Melissa. Good to see you. Can't hear you. But you're not on mute, so.
Okay, something going on with my speakers, I think. Can you hear
Now
me?
we can, yes. Now you're good.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm going to screen share some slides here. And we'll dive in. So those of you that don't know me or it's been a while, I'm Melissa Swain. I am transitioning right now at Clayton into the Chief Innovation Officer role. And so basically I'm overseeing 3 departments, which is quality assessment services, coaching and training, and research and evaluation. And I'll be talking to you about our new brand, Elevate, today. All right, so we brought a new brand into Clayton that is called Elevate, and this brand covers all of our products and services that we offer to the community. So some you'll see are very familiar to you and things we've been offering for many, many years at Clayton, but we're really creating branding around the products and services side. So this is our new brand, Elevate, raising the bar for educators. And again, this is all of our products and services we offer to the communities across Colorado and beyond. We're doing an official launch July 1 this year, but we have been doing a soft launch since March. So all these products and services work if you're an early childhood educator, center director, family home provider, or coach. And our focus for our Elevate teams is excellence, innovation, and relevance to the field. So this is just a brief slideshow of a couple of our products and services that we have. You'll see some of these trainings are probably very familiar to you all and you've seen them before, but we also have a whole listing of new trainings coming out, which includes bracket administration, best practices in child assessment, and more exciting, we're releasing some new BAS and PASS trainings. So instead of doing just the assessment, or if folks don't want to do the assessment and they just want to go through a training on business practices, we are now offering those trainings as well. And we're also launching a new infant toddler mental health training. And all of these will come out in that July timeframe and be available for registration. We've also moved a lot of our trainings to PDIS. So almost all of our trainings are TAP approved, and we're working on approving all the new ones. And so any Clayton trainings can now be found for registration and more information through PDIS, which is really exciting. We're really happy for that partnership and happy to get our trainings more accessible to the community. And here's some more products and services. So it still does include research and evaluation services. We can build custom projects around this. We also are launching Embrace, which is our educator mindfulness program. We've been piloting it nationally with many educators across the state. And we also got to pilot it in rural communities this year through our Circle grants. We're really excited to continue launching that program. Educators have really expressed how much they enjoy that program and how it's really helped support them. And it really does help with retention and just improving teachers' mindfulness. And then we've got, of course, PASS and BAS assessments, class observations, practice ERS, and ERS3 certification still. So all of those same products and services, some new, are all under this Elevate umbrella now. And one exciting thing that I wanted to chat with you all about, because we've had minimal registrants so far. We did just announce this, but for the first time ever, we're going to be hosting an Elevate camp for educators. One day will be hosted at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. The rest will be on the Clayton campus. This is a 3-day camp for educators that's really going to focus on training and using classroom data. So we're going to offer some data utilization training and mindfulness for educators. So we are sprinkling in some of the Embrace program into this. And all of those are TAP approved or on their way to being TAP approved and will be before this event occurs. So educators can earn clock hours towards their credential. There's going to be catered meals and an awesome catered happy hour to close out the event. So we would just really appreciate you guys helping us spread the word with educators, because I think this is going to be an awesome event where they can really connect with others, rejuvenate, We've got themes for different days. So the first one is the Refresh and Rejuvenation Day. And then we've got the second day, which is going to be focused all on elevating classroom practices. So really those trainings. And then the third day is all related to data and how to utilize data in the classroom. So, and this is open for educators 0 to 5, and anyone teaching 0 to 3 will be on a separate training track than the 3 to 5 folks. So it is for 0 to 3 educators. So please help us share that with your networks. This last slide is just more information on how to register for that event and learn more about it and see the schedule. And then any of these services we've talked about today, if anyone wants to request services through Elevate, they can click on that service request form. So that is all I had for you guys today. Thanks so much for having me. And I was really excited to chat with you about our new brand and the Elevate Camp.
Is there a cost for the camp?
Yes, so early bird registration is open right now. It's $275. That goes through May 31st. So essentially folks are getting 4 trainings for the price of 1. And it's a 3-day event, so we're really excited. So that covers the full 3 days. After early bird ends on May 31st, it's going to go to $375, which is like 1.5 trainings for the price of 1.5 trainings for 4. So really want to get folks in now and have them take advantage of that early bird pricing while they can. So after this meeting, I am going to have Charlie, he's going to send out a PDF version of the slides, but I also have a marketing flyer for the Elevate Camp that you guys could share with your network. And it's a digital flyer, or you could print it out and post it.
Cool. I'm not seeing any other big questions pop up. Thank you, Melissa. Always a pleasure to see you. Congratulations on the new role and all the exciting things that are happening at Clayton.
Thank you. Great to see you guys.
Cool, cool. All right. We have our final presentation on here, Miss Joni Zisman, our fabulous new PDIS director. Oh, there you are. Hi.
PDIS Help Desk Manager.
PDIS Help Desk Manager. Apologies.
Well, hi. Thank you for letting me share a few minutes at the end of your meeting today. And it was nice to see a lot of you last week in person. If we haven't met, I'm Joni Zisman, and I am returning to the role of early childhood in the role of PDIS Help Desk Manager. So we are here to help. We have been behind, as we know. I think all of you know that the scoring of ECPC applications was prioritized, and now we're getting caught up, but we're making fast progress. Just a quick update there. We have hired some temporary help. We've hired me to help, and as well as a temp that's helping us right now, and we are getting caught up quickly. In an effort to get caught up and stay caught up forever, we're going to start holding help sessions. So starting on June 20th, each week we will have one topic. We've got about 4 topics that most common questions seem to fall into 4 categories. So we're going to do the first week, which will start the week of June 19th, but the 19th is Juneteenth, so we'll be off that day, but we'll start Tuesday mornings at 10:30. We'll do a session. Same session will be held on Thursday afternoons at 2 p.m. And then those will be in English, and we'll do one in Spanish at 2 p.m. on Tuesdays. So the first week we're going to send all this out in an email, so you don't have to memorize it. We're just kind of trying to socialize it, and hopefully they'll be well attended. So there'll be the first session for directors that'll kind of go over the main topics that directors need to know. And then the second week will be geared towards any providers who want to attend, with the basics about how to update their profile on their account and whatnot. The third week will be on trainings specifically. And then once a month, we will have one session on ECPC credentials. Thank you, Brenda, for helping us out with that. And then we'll have interpretation in Spanish for that session. And then we'll send out the 4 sessions, what the schedule's going to be, and then we'll continue to do that on an ongoing basis if they're well attended. Help us make them well attended. We will, of course, still be answering individual questions. In fact, we think this will help position us to be able to better handle individual questions for people with more complex issues or who need a little extra computer help. So if we can help the masses at once, then yes, we will send calendar invites, Linda. I'll get to that in 1 sec. So actually right now, we'll send a link to a sign-up form for each of the sessions to all PDIS users. And then there are we can accommodate 250 people at a time. So wouldn't it be great if we max that out? We'll just add another session as needed on that same topic. And then we will send a video calendar invite for that Google Meet to everybody who signs up for that session. Everybody, please raise your right hand, even if your video's not on, and repeat after me. I state your name. Understand that these sessions will not count toward a credential, any ongoing professional development or external training or credential hours. Okay, did everybody say it? Thank you. We will say that at the beginning of every help session. That's why we're not calling them trainings. This is just to learn how to navigate the PDIS. So some of the topics.
Joni, sorry to cut you off. Quick question. Will these be recorded?
Yes, they sure will.
Okay, great.
We will record them. We're gonna record the best. We'll pick the best ones and we'll put those on our website. So if we record a better session than the one that was recorded last month, then we'll replace it. But yes, it will be available everywhere. Thanks, Charlie. And any other questions that we should address before I move on?
Not that I'm seeing, but folks feel free to raise hands.
The reason that we pick those times is because we get a lot of phone calls and emails during those times. It seems like either during nap time or I don't know what's happening on 10:30. Maybe people getting ready for lunch. We get a lot of requests during that time. So that's sort of just our starting point. And if that doesn't work for folks, we're going to send a survey at the end of every session and see how the time works, etc. So we can continue to make this a dynamic process and improve them and just evolve as we learn more about how it's done. But that's a fantastic question. We, of course, want to make this available to our audience. All right. So for directors, we'll go over, of course, other things, but account creation for new staff and, common issues with password resets and account creation, advanced roles, workforce management, training management, and then staff roles for how it interfaces with QRIS, as well as more. And we'll do Q&A at the end of every session. We're going to try and make sure people are not asking too many individual questions, because if we do have 250 people, then that'll make it difficult. And then we will go through at the end of each session and close any cases related to the topic that we address that day for all attendees, and we'll let them know that. So if they continue to have problems, they just need to send us a new request. Anybody foresee any issues with that? We're trying to make sure we can answer everybody's questions, but also it's really time-consuming going through individual case-by-case answer the questions. So, all right, moving on. So for providers, we'll go over accounts and profiles, and then employment, past employment, and common issues that they have based on data from Salesforce. Same thing, we'll have Q&A at the end of every session. And then we'll have training specific week where we just go over navigating learning, finding certificates for past courses, finding required courses, common issues with annual trainings, training hours issue that we're having on the dashboard, which may or may not be fixed as of tomorrow. And we're hoping that it is. But right now, the training hours that providers can see when they log into PDIS is not matching what's actually in their transcript. We're using what's in their transcript for scoring applications. So please make sure people know that the correct hours are being recorded. They're just not displaying correctly on that dashboard, but we think it'll be fixed tomorrow. And then ways to get around if a course is to freeze, common things, people not using Chrome, etc. And then once a month, Brenda has been kind enough to do a session on the application for the ECPC itself. And I'll be interpreting that, or other folks will help interpret as needed. So that's what we're up to. Like I said, they'll be continually evolving to make sure that we're meeting everybody's needs, including the days, the time of day. We're happy to do some after-hour stuff if that's what works for them as well. We'll just use the poll that's embedded within the Google Meet application, and we can get a nice little report of our data to make sure that we're hitting the mark on that. So yeah, that's it. Does anybody have any questions on that? All right. We're really excited about it. We're excited to be face-to-face with some providers and get them the help that they need so they can get back in the classroom, back into their training to provide the highest quality learning environment that they can. We know that's why we're here, and that's why they're in PDIS, and we want to make sure that that's as smooth as possible for them. So.
Will there be translation? It sounds like depending on the session, right, Joni, there'll be translation.
Only for Spanish. There'll be a Spanish only course once a week for each topic, and that'll be on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. And again, if that time doesn't work, we will be flexible and change that.
Cool. And where will the recordings be housed?
Yeah, we'll put those on our website, the PDIS Help Desk site, and anywhere else anybody wants to post it. So have the links up, and you're all welcome to post them on your sites if you'd like.
I'm picturing the big screen on Times Square showing how to fill out an ECPC.
You know anyone? Who knows somebody in New York? Somebody's got to know somebody.
Yeah, someone's got to know someone. Cool. This is so exciting. Yeah, I have a feeling these are going to be very popular once we get the word out. So please make sure to spread the word about these. And you know, we've really been listening to the community. We know that you know, receiving support with the system as complicated as PDIS can be challenging. So we're really doing our best to be flexible and offer support in a variety of ways. And this is our newest way. So great ingenuity, Joni, and we're really excited about this initiative. We can't wait.
Thanks. If I can just say that I was gone for about a decade, and boy, did you all do a lot of work in that time. It's so great. It doesn't always maybe feel like you're making a lot of progress in a lot of areas, or maybe you're exhausted, but you've made so much progress, not just in the PDIS and the QRIS, but the whole system itself. We'll be starting June 20th to answer your question. And we're going to send an email with links to sign up.
Cool. And thanks. We appreciate that perspective. I think sometimes it's important to look back on what we've all built, and you know, with the amazing systems that we have in place now, there are going to be some complications, but that's a sign of progress, is getting through those challenges. So thanks. Appreciate that perspective. And yeah, it's true. We're all so in it that we don't always get to see, you know, how big the system that we built really is, and how encompassing it is, and how much progress we're making on it. And you know, now that if you're a provider, you can have your hours tracked with you wherever you go, and you can have your professional development, and you don't have to carry your transcript with you anymore everywhere you go. And so yeah, we're making progress. We appreciate everyone's input onto that. All right, we have 15 more minutes. Any other last minute questions, shout outs, information they'd like to share? All right, well, oh, Lisa, yes, what's up?
Just real quick, PDIS related question. For certificates that are generated outside of PDIS, if they are printed on a type of paper that tries to prevent the duplicating for someone else's purposes, will that still work if they upload it into the system, you guys are able to handle those.
Thank you, Brenda. Thank you for answering this.
Yeah, Lisa, yes, we can. Those watermarks, we will see them, but as long as we can see that it is an original document, we'll include those for both external training and anything that might present like that in the ECPC application as well. Many transcripts come across that way with a watermark behind them to make sure that they are official, but we have other ways of recognizing official documents.
Super. Thank you so much.
Of course.
All right. Anything else? Okie dokie. I'm going to go ahead and stop our recording. And yeah, we're a little bit early.